Welcome back, everybody. Welcome. This is United versus Everybody. I am your host, Sean, and we are back tonight with a big match preview because we have a huge FA Cup clash against Arsenal this weekend as United set out to defend our reign as current FA Cup champions. With 13 cups, United are the second most winningest club in the history of the competition, only behind the Gunners, who have 14. So this is maybe hopefully to start tying things up. This does make us the two most successful clubs in the competition's history, though. And we have had some great moments against each other over the course of the years in this competition, like this beautiful little moment. If you guys remember this El Clasic, that was probably a great match. You guys remember that goal? Let me know how old you were when you saw that goal, because that thing was a thing of beauty. Yeah, and we can laugh about it, but at the end of the day, I still had to Google shirtless Ryan Giggs, so that makes me the loser in some situations. But in any case, the two clubs' first FA Cup clash was way back in 1906, well over 100 years ago, where Arsenal ended up beating United 3-2. We've had 16 meetings in the competition since. We have won 8, Arsenal have won 6, and then there have been 2 draws as well. We have scored 22 goals in this competition. Arsenal have scored 20 against us. So it's up there. It's tight, right? We haven't actually beaten Arsenal overall since September of a couple of years ago, so that's fun. But again, this is a big clash in the nice competition. You guys know I like the FA Cup. Obviously, we won it last year. One of my favorite matches in recent memory was the FA Quarter Cup match against Liverpool last year. But this match also brings with it 2 managers under very different sorts of pressure, but under pressure for, nonetheless. Arteta, Arsenal, kind of under pressure to really start delivering in terms of trophies. They've been doing the Arteta trust the process thing for a while. We've gone through all sorts of excuses, the COVID excuses, the young team, the trust the process, all this kind of stuff. I've already seen Arsenal fans busting out the bigger fish to fry excuse. Well, if we get knocked out, this gives us, more room to focus on the league. We've heard that before. We've literally heard that excuse time and time again. How'd that work out for you, Arsenal? This is how it worked out for you. We're going to talk that cup clash, though. We're going to preview the action today. We're going to talk form. We're going to talk tactics. We're going to talk team news. We are going to talk all sorts of stuff. So, of course, we're going to get started with some news because it has been a busy couple of days. Obviously, I took a day off yesterday. Had a lot going on today. Busy. I was supposed to have a class yesterday with the PFA, but that got canceled last minute because the guy who was supposed to be running the seminar lives in California, actually, and he was given an evacuation alert, so he wasn't able to conduct the class yesterday. So hopefully he made it out. Hopefully, if you guys have been watching the news, that Wi-Fi is crazy. So big prayers, big thoughts over to everybody affected. Hopefully, if you guys have anyone who's affected or has been affected or anything or is at risk, just, thoughts and prayers, because that shit is crazy, and I really hope everybody's okay. But we are going to like this video. We're going to subscribe if you're new. We are going to hit that notification bell if you haven't yet, and make sure you don't miss out on any of the action. So we're going to get stuck in. We're going to start with the transfer news first and foremost, guys. So big up, first and foremost, great news. We got the confirmation that Manchester United have officially agreed to a new contract for Amad Diallo. They have officially announced that the extension run until 2030. And Amad himself had a couple things to say after signing this new contract. What did our star boy say? He says, "It has been difficult. It has been a difficult season for everyone, but I fully believe that we are on the right path and the future is going to be really special. I'm ready to give everything to help the team and make our supporters proud again." Big up, Ahmad. Big up signing that new contract. We all couldn't be happier to see that. Very, very happy. Amorim, in his presser, also laid down a challenge for Ahmad after he put pen to paper on a new contract this week. What has Ruben Amorim had to say on the new contract situation? He has said, "We're going to be more demanding with Ahmad now. He knows what we expect from him. Now he has a bigger responsibility because he has a long contract with a big club. So we're going to be really demanding with him. What are you guys' thoughts on Amad Diallo signing a new contract? What are your thoughts on Ruben Amorim laying down a gauntlet, basically showing Amad, like, we did this because we believe in you. We did this basically because we see the potential. We think that you can rise to this challenge. Now we're going to raise our demands. We're going to raise our expectations because we know that you can do that. And this contract basically says that. So big up Ahmad, big up Ruben Amorim for the tough love. I had no problem with the way Amorim has been managing. It's similar to Ten Hag in that everybody has the same standards. Everybody's got to follow the same rules and everything. I think the difference is just Amorim just comes across a little bit more communicative, a little better. So Usman, big up, my guy. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you are having a good day. It is freezing cold where I am. It's been snowing all afternoon, so it's been a little rough, but it has been cold, but a lot of running around today, a lot of stuff going on the last couple of days. But good to see you again, Usman. Jumping into some transfer business to kind of ease the palate before we dive into the nitty-gritty of the preview. So this is coming from Sammy Muckbell, who's been, pretty heavily involved in transfer rumors over the last couple of seasons. He says that as far as our January transfer business goes, it has been slow. Obviously, we're all a little skeptical, a little worried about what's going to be going on. But according to Sammy Muckbell, United could be set to make a permanent boost in terms of our recruitment structure. Now, this comes in the form of interim director of recruitment Christopher Vivell, who reportedly is now in talks over taking up a permanent position at United. Remember, he came in on an interim basis. He's been kind of stepping up a little bit since the sacking of Dan Ashworth. He and Wilcox have been kind of taken over, but now reports claim that Vivell is set to be handed maybe a permanent role in that regard. There is some optimism, says Sammy Muckbell, that an agreement can be reached with Vivell in the coming weeks. Let me know what you guys think of that. The whole Ashworth situation was nuts. A little bit of embarrassed, not a good look overall. The optics were just not great. But if you have to, put a little egg on your face, if you have to be a little bit embarrassed to, in terms of the decisions, and then not hesitate to go ahead and change those decisions, I'd rather do that than sticking with a bad decision, if that makes sense. So you guys, we can laugh at Ineos, we can question their decision making in terms of hiring Ashworth or whatever, but if they're willing to admit when they've got it wrong and rectify the mistake, then I don't have a problem with that. But you guys let me know. Usman says, I fixed the membership sheddings. Good for you, man. Hopefully the next time we throw out some memberships, you can get hooked up, my guy. But big up, Usman. Big updates today on Marcus Rashford's future, and this is coming from Fabrizio Romano. He claims that now we can add Barcelona to the list of potential destinations. Reportedly, Barcelona have been informed of conditions for a possible loan regarding Marcus Rashford, and initial talks between Barcelona and Rashford's camp have been held this week. Rashford's agent / brother has been making the rounds, talking to Milan, reportedly talking to Borussia Dortmund, but it seems now we can add Barcelona to the list. According to Matteo Moretto, Barcelona's plan is to make an offer to sign Rashford on loan with the option to make it a permanent deal. Still early stages, but who knows? Maybe Marcus can get his dream move to Barcelona. We know he wants to play in Spain. We know he wants to go to Barcelona. I just don't see how this happens, personally. Considering Barcelona's current financial situation, I mean, they had to beg and borrow, and they still failed to get an appeal to get final approval on Dani Olmo and Pau Victor. Those two, I don't know what's going on. I don't see how they're going to be able to bring in someone else like Marcus Rashford, even if it's a loan and even if we're paying like half the wages. I don't see how that happens. They can't register players. So while it could be good, but I just don't know how it happens. Another team reportedly has thrown their hat in the mix for Marcus Rashford. Newly appointed manager Graham Potter's West Ham, apparently, according to Alex Crook, are interested in Rashford and have been asked to be kept to be informed of his situation. Now, I think that Jared Bowen is injured, so we saw Mo Kudus today in that match, Graham Potter's first match in charge, playing on the right. I think Somerville had some issues. They just lost Fulkrug. I think he pulled up with like a hamstring or something in the middle of the first half, if you guys were watching that match. So West Ham could be in need of an attacker. I don't see Rashford going to West Ham, though. Time Sport reported yesterday that AC Milan want Rashford, but they only want half of We only want to pay half of his wages if there's a loan. Again, would you guys do the loan and still pay half the wages if it meant getting him out of here? We talked a little bit about some of those options the other day. You know, what does a loan mean? What does a permanent transfer now mean versus maybe a loan? Letting him get some form someplace else, maybe that raises the transfer value in the summer. Who knows? It really depends on if you want him gone and off the books now or if you're trying to maximize the value. Sky claims the Milan's pitch to Rashford was that he'll be the main man and they're going to build the team around him. So maybe that means they have plans of making him like a striker, playing like a Leao on the left. I don't know. That could be more possible. It sounds like Noah Okafor could be heading to RB Leipzig, which kind of leaves a winger-shaped hole in AC Milan's squad. Who knows? There's rumors coming from everywhere. I've read earlier in L'Equipe that Man United are also proposing a swap deal with Napoli involving Rashford and Kvaratskhelia. Again, I don't know how that's going on because it sounds like PSG want Kvaratskhelia and they're willing to offer Napoli some players plus cash to get that deal done. So who knows what's going on? That could be potential money to Napoli, potential money to AC Milan if they sell Okafor. Are they going to spend on a Rashford? What does this mean for someone like Kolo Muani if Kvaratskhelia comes in? Maybe that means already that PSG have received a suitable offer for someone like Kolo Muani or Nuno Mendes or Kenjin Lee. I have no idea. You can kind of start putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5 if you want to, but a lot of talk going on about Rashford. Danny B, my PSC, how are you doing, my guy? I say PSC, I have to make sure that you guys know what that means. It means partner in crime. In terms of scouting, Danny's my PIC and my partner in crime. So big up, Danny. Good to see you, my friend. Hopefully not as cold for you as it is here. It has been nuts cold today. Just snowing like crazy for like the last 5 hours. On Kolo Muani, though, sticking there. So Florian Plettenberg has had more to say on our reported interest in PSG's French attacker, though. He claims that United's efforts to sign Randall Kolo Muani are becoming more concrete as each day goes by. We are now reportedly determined to do everything possible to secure Kolo Muani's transfer this window. And it seems like that could be a loan with an option to buy perhaps for Kolo Muani. I have no idea, man. It's insane. Daddy says it was freezing here yesterday, warmed up today. Yeah. It did not. When it got colder, it started snowing like crazy. Thankfully, I got home before it got too bad. But it's been a little nuts. So I've already heard like sirens going off and stuff. Clearly, there's been some sort of accidents and stuff already. So if you are driving, be safe. But it's insane. So a lot of Kolo Muani, a lot of Rashford talk. A little bit more on the outgoing front. So Dean Jones claims that Christian Eriksen is set to leave United this month. Again, to where, I don't know, maybe somewhere like, I don't know, Anderlecht, maybe. I've always said he should just go back to Ajax. I think Ajax could do with some leaders in that squad. I think he's played for them before. He knows the club. Again, though, if Eriksen leaves, if Casemiro leaves, even if they're not playing a lot, even if they're not steadfast in the starting 11, we have to replace them. If Eriksen and Casemiro leaves, as far as midfielders go, that leaves us with Menu, Collier, Ugarte, and Bruno, and that's nothing. That's literally nothing. What's going on here? Danny B says Dorgu, Nipan, Christian Ordonez, 60 mil plus 3 players. Spinios are useless. Yeah, Kieran Maguire had a lot to say yesterday talking to Stratford Paddock about Ineos and whatnot. I was going to talk more about that, but that would have made the stream go a lot longer. But he didn't really say anything that we haven't already discussed. And yeah, he said some things that I don't agree with, said some things I do agree with. I think he made a comment like Spinios are worse than the Glazers. I don't agree with that. The Glazers never put any of their own money in. Sir James put $300 million of his money in. He sounds like a guy, though, who does want to see some return on investment, but we'll see. But yeah, Eriksen, Casemiro leave. It gets a lot of wages off the books. Obviously, between the two of them, that is over $500K a week in wages. Doesn't matter how much of a fee. We didn't pay anything for Eriksen, Casemiro. At this point, you're never going to get your money back. So really anything for Casemiro, in my opinion, is a good deal at this point. We have another potential sale as well. So this is coming from Alfredo Padula. He claims that Cesc Fabregas' team, Como, who he manages now, are currently in negotiations with United over the transfer of Tyrell Malacia. That came out of nowhere. I don't know what this means in terms of, are we going to like letting a left back go so we can bring in a left back? We've needed one for years. It's been criminal that we haven't addressed that left side issue. No matter what manager, we haven't addressed it. Obviously, Ten Hag brought in Malacia, wasn't a good signing. We haven't adequately addressed that side. So, would you guys sell Malacia? How much would you want to take for him? Could that be a good fit for him over there at Como? We know that Cesc Fabregas is kind of building something over there. Obviously, Varane went there and that didn't work out. He ended up retiring. They got. I think Dele Alli is training with them right now. I saw rumors the other day that Rashford could be going there. I don't buy that one at all. We have a youngster that is heading out on loan right now this month, and that is our star boy. If you guys have been following the channel for a while, if you guys have been watching along on some of these academy watch-alongs, Ethan Ennis, one of our academy stars, has been confirmed to be joining Doncaster Rovers on loan for the second half of this season. Sounds like Doncaster presented the best plan for Ennis's development, and I think that level, that League Two, getting minutes there, if he's going to get minutes, that could be a good test for him. That could be really good for him at this level. He's one of those players in the academy who he looks too good for that level, but maybe not quite ready in terms of the mentality. Not like mentality is not tough, but just the experience of reading the game and whatnot. There's maybe some time in League Two if he gets minutes. That's the important thing for me, is you have to be able to get minutes. Hopefully he will. If not, we need to recall him and get him playing back in the 18s or something. Danny says 10, 15 mil, get rid of him. For Malacia, I don't remember how much we paid for Malacia. It was like 12 or something. I'm going to look that up real quick. Don't think we paid a ton for Malacia. So 13 million pounds was what we paid for Malacia, with an additional just less than 2 million pounds. So we didn't pay a ton. Honestly, at this point, I'd probably take like 7 or 8 million for Malacia. We're going to lose money because he didn't play for a year and he's not really looking like he fits in. He'll probably go and do really well someplace else, but it's just not going to fit here. This is what happens, like I've said before, with people we've sent on loan when they change managers and things. Sometimes this is just what happens. I hope they don't take it personally. It just is what it is. We have another youngster, though, who will be heading out on loan, and that is Ethan Williams. The reports are that Manchester United are prepared to send Ethan Williams out on loan. Stockport, Leyton Orient are two of a couple of EFL clubs who have made contact about a deal for the 19-year-old. He's not doing bad, right? 4 goals this season. He had like 17 goals last year. He's been a key figure for the U18s. He did really well in our treble-winning season last year. He has played wingback before. I think that he scored a couple goals. I forget who it was last year from a wingback role on the left. So Ethan Ennis, Ethan Williams potentially going out on loan from the academy. Could be good to get some minutes. I know I've raved about Ethan Ennis. Ethan Williams, I know you guys have talked about a couple times. So more news. This is coming from the Mirror, so take with it what you will. United have joined the race reportedly to sign Brentford forward Brian Mbeumo. 40 million was the price tag I saw today. I don't know if you guys have seen any more about that. Would you take Mbeumo? I looked it up. He's got like 13 goals, 3 assists in the league right now. He's a good age. 25, I think, is a good age. 45K a week right now he's being paid at Brentford, so we wouldn't have to break the bank to get him in. Maybe something like 80, 85K to come to United. Where would he play? Maybe one of the wingback names, maybe behind the striker a little bit. Danny says Mbeumo proper signing. The question is, would Brentford want to lose him mid-season, or would we wait until the summer? I don't even know. He's 25. Didn't see when his birthday was. And Danny says, yeah, he can play multiple positions. Yeah, this is the question we have to ask ourselves now when it comes to new signings, is where they're going to play in this system, because it's not a traditional sort of system. It doesn't really use wingers. There are some wingers who I think could play as a wingback role if they've got the physicality, if they've got the stamina, the speed. But that really filters out a lot of wingers that you might have seen assigned under someone like a Ten Hag or an Ollie. So it really is interesting. Danny says, no, it'd be the summer. Can we afford to wait until the summer? That's also the question as far as this is concerned, because we need help now. Our midfield is really, really lacking depth, especially if Casemiro and Eriksen could be gone. We need midfielders. We need Naipan to come in here and take up one of these roles as well. We need help in the 10 because we're just shoehorning, whether or not you think Ahmad is best in the 10 or in the right wing back, I don't know, but we need help. Big up, Nick. Good up. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you again. Danny says he'll be top 3 choice in the Prem for the 20. I mean, we need help, man. At this point, there's not many players that I wouldn't take within the Prem. Liam Delap, sign him up. Mbuemo, sign him up. Like, let's just get everybody because we need some help. But you guys let me know what you think about some of those rumors. Rashford, potentially getting talked to by AC Milan, Barcelona for Rashford, potentially selling Malacia to Como, Brian Mbuemo in the summer. It's all kicking off. So, everybody's just getting reacquainted in the chat. How's everybody doing today? Friday? Is everybody kind of just chilling? How's everybody's Friday going? Yesterday was crazy busy. Today was crazy busy. Obviously, I had to get a haircut, trying to get trimmed up before this trip next week. I was literally on the phone with Justin for 2.5 hours today talking about this trip and talking a lot about not the trip. But we just talk about the most random shit when Justin and I are talking about like the Boondocks. You guys ever watched the Boondocks? Deadpool, all sorts of stuff. Then he says loan obligation to buy 30 to 40 million for Rashford. I just don't see how Barcelona can even entertain the tiniest little shred inkling of a thought about signing anybody. They've got 2 players that they can't even register legally. How are they gonna? I don't get how they're gonna sign anybody. So I know Rashford wants to go to Barcelona. Maybe Barcelona want him. I don't see how that happens. I really don't. But let's talk about this match because we've put it off for too long. It is a big match coming up. Milan be his best option. Yeah, especially like I said, if it's looking like Noah Okafor is going to be going to RB Leipzig. Who do Milan have as far as strikers go right now? I can't think off the top of my head. I honestly have not watched a whole lot of Italian football this year. Let me see who Milan have right now. Good old Foot Mob. How are we doing? If you guys know, let me know. But I'm gonna go ahead and look it up on Foot Mob and see what they're doing over in AC Milan. Abraham, that's who it was, says Danny. See, I knew Danny would know. So they got Abraham. A little different profile to Rashford, obviously. Rafael out was a little bit injured. I think he's back now. And they got that other kid who was filling in for him. I want to say his name was like Dominguez, something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, Okafor could be leaving. So Arsenal. What do we have to say about Arsenal? No Bukayo Saka, obviously injured. Nwaneri out as well. Ben White out. Tomiyasu out. I feel like I can't remember now off the top of my head. I feel like Arsenal could also potentially be missing a midfielder, though, due to, let's say, legal reasons. But I'm not 100% sure on that one. Obviously, if I couldn't name the name if I felt it, because I don't want to do anything wrong. But I feel like I read something recently that there's an issue there. Obviously, you guys have been following Premier League in the last couple of years. You might know who I'm talking about. But correct me if I'm wrong. Just say yes or no, depending on if I'm right on that one. But they have hit a bit of a stumbling block. They were on a good run. But they have hit a bit of stumbling block in the last couple of matches. They drew 1-1 against Brighton. They did not look great against Newcastle the other day. They lost 2-0 in their first leg of that Carabao Cup tie. But I mean, when your front three are Martinelli, Havertz, and Trossard, I don't know what you expect to do. That's not a front three capable of winning a Premier League. Just like we said, you can't win the Premier League on just corner kicks alone. Whether or not this indicates some sort of a downward trend for Arsenal in current form, or if they're just maybe hoping for a response on Sunday after back-to-back poor results, who knows? But I remember they went on a little bit of a tricky run not that long ago. They lost in like the Champions League and they'd stumbled again in the league or something. Regardless, you can't take any opponent for granted, especially when it's Premier League competition. Arsenal still have a squad capable of hurting you if you're not careful. Rice, Odegaard, Gabriel Saliba can all punish you. We know that Gabriel's not going to get punished for pulling people down in the box. So as long as the refs aren't complete idiots, maybe we'll have a chance there. Maybe Arsenal will win if it goes to pens, and instead of pens, it goes to corners. Maybe they'll have a shot too. But as far as Arsenal go, it has been a little bit of a case of missed chances for them in recent weeks. They've created chances if you look at some of their numbers, but that lack, and I've said it for the last couple of years since they signed Gabriel Jesus, the lack of an out-and-out striker, like a top striker, combined with just the lack of clinical finishing from some of their players recently, has seen them kind of miss out. 5 big chances created against Brighton. They missed 4 of those big chances. 6 big chances created against Newcastle. They missed all 6 of those chances. Like, I don't know what just happened all of a sudden for them. Contrarily, so Newcastle only created 2 big chances, but they scored 2 goals. Again, you have to be clinical. Brighton had 3 big chances. They scored 1 of them. So again, 1 and 3, that's good finishing. Arsenal are also lacking a bit of physicality right now, something we saw from United recently as well. Against Newcastle, they only won 33% of their ground duels, for instance. So that could be where we win the battle. If we do what we did against Liverpool, that could really be where we win this. This is where we can hurt them. If we maintain the form, that physical level, that fight, that determination, that level that we saw from the Liverpool match, we could really take advantage of this and kind of add another, twist the knife in a little bit. Danny says, not buying a proper striker cost Arsenal a title. It really did. And people want to go on and on. Like, I've seen so many people defend to the hilt Gabriel Jesus and Havertz. Like, whenever Havertz pops up with a goal, it's always, see, we told you. And it's like, and then when it's not, when they struggle, it's trust the process. We're going to trust the process. When they get knocked out of a cup, it's, well, now we can focus on the league. Now, like when they get knocked out of Champions League, now we can focus on the league. It's always the bigger fish to fry excuse with Arsenal supporters, and it's getting a little embarrassing, quite frankly. This is why I don't take Arsenal supporters seriously, ever. I just don't. Whether they're on YouTube or just online or whatever, I don't take them seriously, because how can you? How can you take Arsenal supporters seriously? I'm going to have to go buy a case of Gooner Tears in a second here and chug that on Monday, hopefully. So how can we, not only can, I think if we can take advantage of their lack of physicality right now, I think if we see more of what we saw against Liverpool from United when it comes to winning those individual battles, but not only that, but just after another week of training, take it to another level, get some familiarity. I think we have an honestly got a chance to get some. I feel much more optimistic about this match than I did going into the Liverpool match, because we're just improving. Manuel Ugarte, Bruno Fernandes, and Kabi Menu won a combined 25 challenges against Liverpool. That's immense. And if you look at what Arsenal have been lacking in the last couple matches, that physicality, I think that we can definitely take advantage of that. This is what I've been crying out for. This is what I'm talking about, and I want even more of this against Arsenal. We need to back ourselves fully in this game. We need to not sit back on the back foot. We need to not give Arsenal too much respect and too much space and time. We need to take a page out of what Brighton did by not sitting so deep, not giving Arsenal possession in our half of the pitch. We can't do that. When Brighton made second half changes against Arsenal the other week, they brought on Ruder, they brought on Minta. What that did is it put more energy and attackers, more bodies and movement higher up the pitch. And what that ended up doing was pinning Arsenal's defenders back. They couldn't get out. They weren't comfortable. They couldn't get into their shape again to get high up the pitch, and they kept having to defend. Increasing the pressure, forcing mistakes. It led to Brighton winning a pen. I'm not saying the plan is let's go out and win a penalty, but we need to put them on the back foot. We need to not show fear. We need to not give them respect, and we need to not show a shred of heads dropping if we make a mistake, concede early. We need to just keep going. Brighton didn't let their heads drop. Brighton made proactive changes. They went all out. They increased the energy. They put a lot of bodies high up the pitch, and it helped them salvage something from that match. Arsenal are at their best when they have a lot of the ball and they're given a lot of time and space to work in possession forward, when they're allowed to move the ball around in the opposition half. They're not great at counterattacks, though. I'm not saying don't worry about counterattacks. I'm saying they're not great at not because we don't have to worry about it, but because that's not their plan. They don't do that because that's not where they excel. We can't let them get comfortable is the point. We can't let them use the ball the way they want to use the ball. But this means we also need to be disciplined, I think. I don't want to see guys like Leach up stepping forward 20 yards all the time to make challenges. A little discernment, a little reading of the game, communication, when to step up, when to sit back, when to press, what are the triggers. And then we need to see that from all zones in the pitch. Ahmad is currently top of the league for possession one in the final third, so he can definitely help us out. I trust him to know what to do in that situation. And so I think like I said, Brighton made some proactive changes, got more involved higher up the pitch, penned Arsenal back, really made it difficult for Arsenal to play their game. And if we can take the physicality we saw against Liverpool, if we can take the challenges that we saw from Bruno Ugarte and Kobbie Mainoo, and if we can take that league-leading possession one in the final third numbers that we've seen from Ahmad, I think that that's a great combination to really put us in the best spot. What are we seeing as far as Ruben Amorim's thoughts ahead of this one? So we got some team news. So if you guys watched the press conference, so he confirmed that Bayindir is going to start in goal. Marcus Rashford is available for selection. So Rashford could be featured in the squad. Bayindir is going to be between the sticks. That could put us at a handicap right away because Bayindir did not cover himself in glory against Spurs. Really did not. Amorim said, I don't rotate because I want to rotate. I'm trying to find the best solutions to win the game. I put the guys in who are more fresh to cope with the demands of the game. The keeper position is different, so it's a good question. Altay will play. He was asked, who's going to start. He was asked some really weird questions. So he was straight up asked, like, would you sell homegrown players like Kobbie Mainoo and Marcus Rashford if it meant he was able to bring in players that he wants? I thought that was a very bold question. That's just, you're straight up asking a manager to say, like, would you sell some players? I think the question was referring to something that he said in a previous press conference too. And he said, I didn't say that I would sell these players, just that we need to simply improve the squad. He wants to see the academy players improving as well. He reiterated, on Mainoo especially, that the club ideally would hold on to its best players. That's the point. They want to hold on to their good players and use them and keep them as part of the squad. He was asked specifically if Kobbie Mainoo was a player he wants to keep. He said he wants to keep all his players. He's happy with Kobbie. He's happy with the academy. He was asked about Marcus Rashford again. He said, I just want to focus on the next game. We knew there was going to be a Rashford question in there, though. But what I do like from Amorim is that he's, again, kind of like the challenge he put down for Amad Diallo. He's expecting more from the squad now that he's had more time to train. He's basically saying that while that was a valid reason for why things weren't getting picked up on in terms of tactics and stuff, he says now they've had more time to train, the margin for excuse is getting smaller and smaller. He says, now we have time to train a bit more. I expect our team to understand better the game. We try to work on set pieces because it's really important. Yep. We suffer a lot in these last games. I don't rotate because I want to rotate. I'm not different than the other coach. I'm trying to find out the best solutions to win every game. And sometimes I have doubts over which game I'm going to put, and I put the guys who are more fresh to meet the demands of the game. What would you guys put out for the starting 11? Let me know in the thoughts. I'm going to run through a couple more of his quotes from the press conference here. He says that what I'm thinking is that 1 week without any game, we had a day off. We could work the team a little bit, and then it doesn't make sense for me to rest players now than to play both games really near. So I think we have to put the best team, we have to win, follow up on the last performance. So I think that what I want to see is more of the same. And not only that, but even more. I think we have levels that we can reach that we haven't seen yet. And I think with just a little bit of training, look at the difference against Liverpool. I'd like to see more. I'd like to, like I said, really kick to Arsenal when they're down. Honestly, aside from the goalkeeper, because we know that that's not going to be the same, I would just play the same 11 that started against Liverpool. I mean, if it ain't broke, right, don't need to fix it. And just like Danny says, same team as last week, maybe Euro for Maguire. Yeah, I don't see the need to change a whole lot. I'd say almost that it's the best 11 that we have in their best positions. Problem is, right now we also have not very much depth because we have too many players still that aren't quite good enough. Players who are injured, right, like Shaw, Mount. But we also have players that look likely to leave because they're just not deemed in the squad, whether that's Rashford, Eriksen, Casemiro, Antony, Malacia now, perhaps. Lindelof still out, Mount still off, Evans I think was something. So right now it's needs must. That's a big factor, but I don't see the need to change a whole lot. Again, we were excellent against the Bin Dippers, so just let it ride. Just let it ride for this match. But you guys let me know what you thought. Like Danny says, probably just going to go with the same team. What's your score prediction for this one? Arsenal have only scored 1 in their last 2. So they're not in great form. Again, is that indicative of a downward trend in their form, or are they going to kind of rally and try to get a result this weekend. It's an FA Cup. The pressure really is on Arteta. He can't, in my opinion, he can't afford to just go out with this bigger fish to fry, focus on the league, not care about the domestic cups. He's going to need to start getting trophies, whether the fans are going to demand it, whether the owners are going to start to demand it, whether some of these players are going to really start to question, their place at this club and whether or not it matches what they're trying to do. Who knows? But Danny says Arsenal epoxy win. So what kind of pressure do you guys think is on Ruben Amorim in this one? Do you think that, he can, do you think that there is pressure? And if so, what comes with that pressure? What sort of pressure is that? Because obviously he's only been here a little over a month. So there can't be a ton of pressure. It's not like, the expectations are high. It's not like there's a risk of being sacked or anything. And I think we can already say we've already seen, the tactics and whatnot. I think the problem is the personnel just aren't quite matching that ambition. Nick says 2-2. If it goes to 2-2, isn't that going straight to pens? Is that right? Danny says, yeah, no pressure. Still waiting on a left back. Yeah, nothing's changed since we started the stream. Dorgu, I like Dorgu. I think that he's still raw. And I do think that the price tag that Lecce reportedly, like the price they're at, is still way too high for a player from that club. Hold on, I'm going to look up, see what Morten Hjulmand's fee was, because that's a good indicator. Because he came from Lecce when he went to Sporting. So Hjulmand went for 18 million euros with the potential to rise to 20 million, and that was just over a year and a half ago. So I'm not paying 35 million for a wingback who's much, much younger than Hjulmand was. That's, to me, I'm sorry, that's a ripoff. Dorgu's not worth that much. You guys have a different opinion or not. If you're going to pay 35 million for a wingback like Dorgu, just go pay the release clause for Miguel Gutierrez at Girona. He's better. He's proven. He's one of the best wingbacks you're ever going to see right now in football. It doesn't make sense to me. Lionhearts, good evening, my guy. We were just wrapping up here, Lionhearts, but it is good to see you. We're going through score predictions right now. Danny says epoxy Arsenal win. Nick says 2-2. I'm actually going to be ambitious for this one, and I'm actually going to go 2-1 United. I'm going to be chilling with Justin and his family on Sunday. We're going to be packing up a little bit and figuring out logistics while we watch this, but I'm going to go 2-1 United. I'm going to be optimistic. Nick says, I think from fifth round onwards, it would go to extra time, then pens. Gotcha. Danny says, exactly. Or go get Alvaro back for half that price. Now, the thing with Alvaro, and again, the thing is with everybody, any players, is would he want to come back? I think that he's probably really enjoying himself in Benfica. I think he really likes that there. We do need him a lot, but he's playing, and he scored the other day as well. He had like an assist. It's interesting. I would take Alvaro, but and for half the price, like Danny said, there's options out there. We just have to make moves. And if we sell Malacia to Como, if that report is accurate, then that could help us out. Lionhearts says 3-1 United. All right. I see you, Lionhearts. I see you, my guy. So again, we know that Bayindir is going to start. Rashford could be part of the squad. I wouldn't change a whole lot to the team that started against Liverpool. We shouldn't have to rotate a whole lot unless somebody's got a knock or something. Danny says he would swap Maguire for Euro. You guys, I thought Euro looked really, really good against Liverpool. Obviously, he made that world-class tackle in the box to deny Darwin Punez. So you guys let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on some of the transfer news going out. Hopefully, maybe we'll see some updates tomorrow. I was watching a couple. I know, did Graham Potter win? I know he was winning last time I had the match on in Graham Potter's debut as West Ham's manager. Let me see. So Leverkusen beat Dortmund, and Villa came back to beat them. Oh, wow. A couple goals in the space of a few minutes. Dang, that sucks. Sorry, Graham. But yeah, if you guys missed it, Graham Potter, man, everybody's getting sacked. So I heard yesterday, because I don't follow a ton of the stuff in the championship. I heard Luton Town sacked their manager recently, is what Mr. Peters was telling me yesterday. Obviously, Everton sacked Sondheich. It looks like David Moyes is going to be Everton manager again. West Ham sacked Lopetegui as well. Obviously, we saw that coming, though, didn't we? It is all. I can't believe Nura Sahin still has a job at Dortmund. That job seems like it's tailor made for Eric Ten Hag. Eric Ten Hag could literally walk into that job. So, you guys, let me know score predictions again in the comments. If you're not able to catch the live, let me know your starting 11. Let me know your thoughts on the transfer news. As always, please, please, please like that video. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. We will be back maybe Sunday night, possibly Monday. It just depends. I got to check on my schedule. I got a lot going on this week before I head out. But keep a lookout for content while I'm gone as well. Try my best to keep you guys updated. Obviously, we're going to see each other before then, but just giving you a heads up, just because I'm on the road checking out some matches doesn't mean I'm not going to be hanging out with you guys as well. So thank you guys for stopping by tonight. Thank you for getting involved in the match preview and some of the news. Enjoy the rest of your night. Stay warm, stay safe. If you do have anybody who's affected by the fires, just thoughts and prayers out there, because that shit is crazy. Till then, I will see you guys on the next one.